But regardless of gender, almost everyone had an extraordinary demeanor, with men looking majestic and women beautiful and elegant. Handsome men and beautiful women were everywhere. Anyone who saw them would say the Qingyun Sect had promising successors and a bright future. After crossing the Rainbow Bridge, they arrived at the Emerald Water Pool where the water Kiran, the guardian spirit beast of Qingyun Mountain, resided. Unlike when Zhang Xiaofan and Lin Jingyu first arrived 5 years ago, this ancient beast, respectfully referred to as the sacred beast by Qingyun disciples, was not hiding in the pool, but lying lazily on the ground, basking in the sun. However, looking at its lazy appearance, it didn't seem much different from 5 years ago. The disciples of Qingyun stepped down from the Rainbow Bridge, one by one bowing respectfully to the massive creature, then ascended the steps by the pond, heading towards the main hall of Tianyin Temple, walking behind the others. Lin Jingyu quietly said to Zhang Xiaofan, "Do you remember our experience when we first arrived here?" Zhang Xiaofan nodded, still feeling a bit frightened. "I remember, drenched in water, but seeing such a huge monster, it really scared me." Lin Jingyu smiled. "Exactly, back in Xiaomiao village, we never saw anything like this. I thought the largest creature in the world was the bear on Qingyun Mountain." Zhang Xiaofan burst into laughter, causing everyone to turn around. Startling him, he quickly stifled his laughter, and Lin Jingyu coughed awkwardly. His face slightly flushed. After the others glanced back and resumed walking, Zhang Xiaofan breathed a sigh of relief. He glanced at Lin Jingyu, and they exchanged a knowing smile. The dozens of people ahead quickly passed by. Zhang Xiaofan and Lin Jingyu approached the edge of the pond, respectfully bowing to the water Kilin. However, the water Kilin seemed to be in a deep sleep from the beginning. No matter how they bowed, there was no response. It was sound asleep, snoring like thunder, completely unaware of the two Qingyun disciples bowing to it. Zhang Xiaofan and Lin Jingyu didn't expect a response from the water Kilin. After bowing, they ascended the steps. Zhang Xiaofan said, "Jingyu, when you came to the Great Bamboo Peak last time, everything was rushed, and I didn't congratulate you. I didn't expect you to advance so quickly in just a few years." Lin Jingyu smiled and said, "It's all thanks to my master, Master Kang Song, and the teachings of my senior brothers. Initially, for the first few years, whenever I practiced, I thought of the corpses soaked in blood in Xiaomiao village, feeling distressed. So, I worked hard in hopes of one day avenging my parents and the people in the village." Zhang Xiaofan felt a pang in his heart and reached out to pat his friend's shoulder. After Lin Jingyu regained his composure, he smiled and said, "Let's not dwell on the past. What about you? How's your cultivation going?" Zhang Xiaofan shook his head and said, "You know, I've never been as clever as you. These years at Great Bamboo Peak, my master and senior brothers have been very good to me, but I'm too slow in cultivation. I really let down my master and senior brothers." Lin Jingyu snorted. "Where are you slow? I'm pretty sure your short master is intentionally making things difficult for you, not passing on the true Qingyun Sect cultivation methods." Unexpectedly, the dispute from 2 years ago still weighed heavily on Lin Jingyu's mind. Zhang Xiaofan laughed and said, "No, my master isn't like that. Forget about me. By the way, is your treasure still the dragon-slaying sword from 2 years ago?" Lin Jingyu nodded and smiled. "This divine sword is the treasure of the Dragon Head Peak. Master favored me and passed this sword down to me. It's not only powerful, but also sentient, greatly assisting me in cultivation." Zhang Xiaofan admired it inwardly, his face showing his envy. "That's wonderful." Lin Jingyu smiled and asked, "What about you, Xiaofan? Do you have any treasures?" Zhang Xiaofan was taken aback for a moment, subconsciously reaching into his chest and touching the black firebrand, a cold sensation faintly seeping into his palm. "No," he whispered, "I'm not proficient enough in cultivation to wield treasures." Lin Jingyu didn't mind, seeming to have already anticipated it. He comforted him, saying, "It's okay, Xiaofan. As long as you practice diligently, you will succeed. After all, we're still young. Just consider this visit as a learning experience." Zhang Xiaofan's lips twitched. Looking at his friend's kind face and hearing his gentle words, he felt no comfort, just a learning experience. Everyone seemed to think he was just here to learn, thinking of this, an indescribable anger rose in his heart, like a fire burning deep inside. But in an instant, it dissipated. He lowered his head, saying nothing. He didn't even feel the urge to blame his friend because he realized he himself thought the same. As if in response to his thoughts, the firebrand in his hand, which had been touching his palm, suddenly reacted. In a moment, a chill surged, spreading from his hand to his shoulder. Zhang Xiaofan was shocked, but he quickly realized that this sensation posed no harm to his body. Instead, it felt cool and comforting. He glanced to the side and saw that Lin Jingyu was completely unaware. Just as Zhang Xiaofan let out a sigh of relief, suddenly, a deafening roar erupted from behind them. Not only Zhang Xiaofan, but even Lin Jingyu, who was far more advanced in cultivation, trembled all over, ears ringing with a deafening noise, and the disciples of Qingyun who were ahead of them seemed to be in the same situation. Everyone was extremely surprised. How could such a strange sound occur in the sacred land of Qingyun? They all turned back, and what they saw was even more terrifying. The water kiln, which had been asleep all along by the pond, suddenly woke up, turning its head viciously, its huge eyes emitting endless hostility. Its fur stood on end, and it opened its mouth wide, revealing two long, sharp fangs, assuming an attacking posture. Its target, it was none other than the Qingyun disciples standing on the steps.